Hello YouTube and welcome back to another video. This time I thought I would do a video response. It's been a little while since I've done a video, so I thought I would just make this quick video. This is a video response to TheArmchairEmpire. He's an American YouTuber, I believe. He's American or he's Canadian, I'm not too sure. But he's a YouTuber that I do enjoy watching. He's one of those YouTubers, he hasn't shown his face, doesn't really do pickup videos, nothing like that. He generally, what he does is he sort of like does a lot of gameplay videos, and a lot of the time he sort of adds commentary to either he's talking about the games that are actually being played and what he's showing, or he's talking about something completely different, but always gaming related topics. And the last video that I saw of his, the topic was essentially about what games would you wish that you could experience again, like you experienced them the first time. And immediately when I sort of heard the question, the first game that came to my mind was quite an obvious one that I think for a lot of people this might be the same game for them. But then the more I thought about it, I thought of another game from a little bit further back that really for me was just created with such a positive impact. It was just amazing. It just really blew me away. So I thought I would talk about that game, but I also want to talk about the first game as well, the game that initially came to my mind, and then we'll talk about the one that you know, the one that I really want to talk about. I'll leave it till last. So the first game I want to talk about is Metal Gear Solid. Now, I'm sure a lot of people felt the same way about this game the first time they played it. It was the very first sort of cinematic game. I'd never, honestly, prior to this, I'd never really experienced a game like this before. I mean, sure, there was the Resident Evil games, but I believe they didn't really feel that cinematic to me, simply because of the poor voice acting. Whereas this had really good voice acting, which was quite uncommon at that time because, you know, during the 32-bit era, you know, voice acting in games wasn't considered a sort of serious thing, you know. So it was refreshing when this actually had some pretty decent voice acting, and Hideo Kojima, the creator of this game, really went out of his way to create a very sort of movie-like game. I mean, just the opening segment of the game where you're making your way into Shadow Moses, which is the Arctic base. It's all very cinematic. The credits are still on the screen as you're sort of going along. It's really fantastic. Great atmosphere. The boss battles in this game, again, very cinematic. Great personalities to each boss. You have to defeat them in a very specific way. Each boss is very different. It really was a fantastic and, at the time, very unique game. Nothing had really been seen like this before. And it was definitely a game that, I don't know, I mean, if I was to experience this game today, I might not be as impressed with it, but it's definitely a genre-defining game. I mean, this was the game that sort of set a precedent for a lot of games that came along afterwards. I mean, this is definitely one of the main reasons why we have games like The Last of Us and the Uncharted series. These very cinematic, story-based games. You know, and a lot of that is in part thanks to Metal Gear Solid. I mean, just with all the cutscenes and the actually really good voice work that really adds a lot of the atmosphere, the fantastic graphics in the game. You know, it really is a testament. I mean, if you've never played Metal Gear Solid, I highly recommend you do so. It's probably not going to, you know, really impress today's audiences, but it's definitely, if you've played the other Metal Gear games, definitely give this one a chance if you haven't done so already. It is a really good game. I mean, there are, of course, certain aspects of this game that have dated, namely the controls, but it's still definitely a highly regarded game, I think, by a lot of people, and rightly so. And it definitely, a lot more people should check this game out if they haven't done so. But yeah, so I'll leave it at that. But the game I really wanted to talk about, and this was one that came out during the 16-bit era. It's a game for the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis, and this is a game that's strangely, you don't really hear a lot of people talk about. I mean, I have seen a few videos of this game online and whatnot, and it is a well-regarded game, but it's not a game that a lot of people just talk about, really. I mean, usually you see a lot of videos and they talk about the same games, and this is definitely one game that you don't see as many topics on or as many videos of. And the game I want to talk about is Probotector, or as everyone in the US would know this game as, Contra Hardcore. Now, this is Now, during the 16-bit era, I grew up with the Mega Drive, but I was a big fan of the Super Nintendo as well. But of course, as we know, the 16-bit wars at that time was one of the biggest arguments in gaming at the time. And I was a kid at that time, and it was no different. I mean, even though I loved the Super Nintendo, I was very much a Sega fanboy naturally because it was a system that I owned. So a lot of times when I would get into these debates with my friends and whatnot that owned Super Nintendos, they would always use the same arguments against me. Super Nintendo is technically superior, and it has better sound. But the thing that I used to hear the most of was, well, the Super Nintendo has Mode 7. Okay, now if you don't know what Mode 7 is, essentially what that is, it's like a graphical style that Super Nintendo could display, which sort of gave certain games a sort of semi 3D effect. It was mostly used in games like Super Star Wars, where you're sort of flying into the screen. Games that used Mode 7 were like games like F-Zero, parts of the Super Star Wars series, the level in Castlevania 4 with the rotating room and just stuff like that. That's essentially what Mode 7 was. It's like a form of scrolling. Basically because the Super Nintendo had more colours and it was able to do certain things a little bit better than the Mega Drive from a technical standpoint. But this game to me definitely delivered, because I remember at the time a lot of people, because I used to love Contra 3 on the Super Nintendo. Contra 3, brilliant game, absolutely loved it. I was really jealous of Super Nintendo owners. That was definitely a game that I always wished could come out on the Mega Drive, because I just loved that game so much. And I knew that back then I was never going to get a Super Nintendo because I'd made my choice. My mum wasn't going to buy me another system, so I was stuck with my choice. So when I found out this game was going to come out, I was really happy. I actually bought this game first week of release. And you have to remember, this is the time before the internet, so I had not seen any footage of this game. Only thing I'd seen was screenshots from magazines. That's all. I had no idea what this game was going to be like, how it was going to play, nothing like that at all until I actually got the game in my hands. And I have to say, this game absolutely blew me away. The opening level, just phenomenal. When you see the truck coming through and it barges through all the villains, and you jump out of the truck and you just start running and gunning, just fantastic. The music was just hard thumping. It really got you in the mood to what the game was about. The boss battles were epic. There was a lot of 3D sections in the game where you're running towards the screen as you're shooting, stuff that I'd never seen the Mega Drive do before. And I have to give a lot of credit to Konami. They really knew how to play to the Mega Drive strengths, and the programmers definitely knew what to do with the hardware. And it was amazing, because a lot of people did say to me at that time that Probotector Contra was not possible on the Mega Drive. I used to hear that so many times. That's all I said, because it will never happen on the Mega Drive. It was just not possible. And lo and behold, we ended up getting our own version of the game, not a port of the Super Nintendo version, but our own game. And to me, this definitely is on par with Contra 3. I don't know if I'd say it's better than Contra 3, because I kind of love them both the same. So yeah, it's definitely on that level for sure. Really lived up to the hype. Fantastic game. So definitely, if you pick up for the Mega Drive / Genesis, definitely check out Probotector or Contra Hardcore. It is a brilliant game, and it's remained one of my favourites to this day. It's a very hard game, but it's a lot of variety in this game. I mean, there's multiple paths you can take in the game. There are quite a few endings as well, so it's got a lot of replayability. It does have a 2-player co-op. It plays great, but this game is very, very difficult, has to be said. But yeah, this is definitely the one that I feel was... And I'll even tell you this right now, when I was a kid, this was the game that I waved in the face of all these Super Nintendo owners. And at that time, they couldn't say anything to me, because this game was fantastic, and they had to admit it was fantastic. And, I'm not going to lie, first few weeks of owning this game, I was kind of smug. I was really smug with this game. I remember I think I was about 13 when I got this game, 13 or 14, not quite sure, but I remember just just sort of like, just there, just staring at the game, just staring at the box for like ages. Just excited the fact that I actually had Probotector on the Mega Drive. It was just, it really was a happy time for me when I got this game. It really was. A lot of fun memories. I do believe, I'm not too sure. No, I don't. I could have sworn I had some cheats for this game, because I definitely used the cheats. I believe this did have the Konami code as well. But yeah, this is, yeah. I would love to experience this game again for the first time, I have to say. Because honestly, like, you should have seen my face when I played this game. It was, yeah, I was really like grinning from ear to ear. I was really, really happy. Definitely did not let me down. Brilliant, brilliant game. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to leave a link in the description below to The Armchair Empire. Definitely check him out, guys. He's a really good YouTuber. He talks about a lot of topics, and he goes into in-depth about the topics as well. He's very, very interesting, and he tends to cover a lot of games that I'm interested in. So if you like, you know, beat 'em ups, running gun, shooters and stuff, definitely check out his channel. Yeah, so thanks very much for watching, and thank you very much to The Armchair Empire for putting this discussion out. I'm glad I could make a video response, and yeah, I will be back very soon, guys. I've got some free time coming up, so expect to see some videos very, very soon. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll be back. Bye-bye.